Hello everyone and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me as always is my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Kanye West. How are you doing today, Kanye? Special guest in Jake Roth, but also we have Kanye West in here.
Yep, Kanye's with us.
Do your best Kanye West impression. I'll go first.
Me?
I'll go first.
Okay, I can do it.
Hey, it's me, Kanye West.
All right, I'll do mine now. Okay, ready? I'm gonna do it in 2 seconds, and this is Kanye West if he was on our podcast. Ready? 1, 2.
That's the best Kanye West. You guys can't see because he did like the whole face. Jake's face basically became Kanye West's face.
Yep.
It was quite incredible. It was like that Twilight Zone episode where that guy can turn his face into other guys' faces. You seen that Twilight Zone episode?
No.
You might not know this about me. I love the Twilight Zone, and I watched a lot of the Twilight Zone.
You do bring it up a lot, so I guess I figured that.
It's a good show. But there's one episode where a guy can just like turn his face into other guys' faces, but he keeps getting like, he'll like, okay, I have gambling debts, so I'm gonna turn my face into this like random poster I see, and then like the guy who he turned his face into is like being hunted down by the mob, and then he turns his face into another guy's face, and it's like, you cheated on my wife, and then whatever, it shoots him. He's like, it wasn't even me, I was just a random dude. I just got face change magic.
Damn.
Yeah, but this
sad
week,
life.
It is. This week, I have a TV show idea. If you want
Is it related to your Twilight Zone tangent?
Not really. It probably could be. You could probably incorporate the universe that I am adding to into the Twilight Zone. It would work very well because this is not an original series. This is a spin-off of a pre-existing intellectual property.
Oh, look at you stealing for money.
So I have recently rewatched Hellraiser 1 and Event Horizon, which are two movies. They're two horror movies. One set in space and one set in London in the 80s. And you would like think that they're not related at all, but Hellraiser is about the Lament Configuration, which is a mystical puzzle box that, if solved, opens up a dimensional portal and allows these monstrous beings called cenobites to travel through, and they kidnap people and they take them to their world of torture and pleasure where pain and pleasure become one and the same, and they're all like sort of weird looking, body.
It's like that episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, like that, but serious and better because Pinhead's there. Everybody knows Pinhead. Pinhead's the best.
They're doing a new one, I think.
Yeah, they are. They're casting a lady Pinhead. They cast her.
They are, yes.
Yeah, it's great because the Pinhead was a lady in the book.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
I didn't know there was a book.
Yeah, written. It was a novella written by Clive Barker, who also directed and wrote the movie.
It's a great word, novella.
Yeah, it is a good word. But Event Horizon is a different horror movie created by a different guy decades later. Or a decade later. I think they have often been said that they're like spiritual sequels because instead of a puzzle box, it's a spaceship that makes a dimensional tear and brings all of the crew into this weird hell dimension where they get eternally tortured by something else. There are no cenobites in it, obviously, but it's pretty cool. So I was inspired by that.
Do they go beyond the event horizon in the movie?
I think so. They go to the Lewis and Clark.
What?
The Event Horizon's the name of the ship. I don't know what the Event Horizon is in space.
Oh, it's black holes, right?
Yeah.
So, the Event Horizon is the point you pass where you get into like the actual black part of the black hole. It's not something you can really do.
Oh, okay. Well, they made I think they call it the Event Horizon because there's like the engine of the ship creates a black hole, and that's why they can travel across the universe. Because they go to a different dimension. It's cool. It's also a little Warhammer 40k, which, depending on how you feel about Warhammer 40k, it's fun. But I think it's a spiritual successor to the Hellraiser movies. and I very much enjoy the Hellraiser movies. So, the TV show I am pitching, which I have not come up with a name for yet, except for maybe The Carrier of the Box. That's not very good, is it?
The Carrier of the Box.
Yeah.
I kind of like just The Carrier.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That sounds cool. That sounds kind of scary.
Yeah.
You know,
So
if that came out, he'd be like, "Hey, Charlie, that new what's the horror movie director?
James
James Cameron has got a new movie out, The Carrier. You want to go see it?
Yeah, sure. I'll see The Carrier.
It's really scary, I heard. They got those commercials. They're frightening.
With James Cameron, and he's looking at the camera, he says, "I have more money than you." That's
and we say, "We know James Cameron."
We're aware. He's like, "Look at my submarine." And we're like, "That's a very good submarine."
We got it.
James.
You found the Titanic.
Good job, Titanic finder, James. Alright. "I'm going to Pandora." And then he, gets into a cardboard box and is carried away by his league of servants.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's happening while we're talking about Hellraiser, the series, The Carrier, in which our main character, Stefan Mather, is the first episode set in the Old West, right?
Okay.
Stefan finds himself in a band of outlaws, and they're robbing this train, right? It's the middle of the night. They've got, the masks up and the guns. It's Old West cowboy fun. They're shooting guys, they're, doing stuff, and they, are wandering through the train, getting as much loot as they can carry, and they get to, a train car. And it's the fanciest train car. It doesn't have any electric lights going on. Everything's lit by candlelight, and there's all these dudes and ladies in monk robes. And there's a man shirtless, or a naked dude in the middle. They've drawn maybe a pentagram or something around him on the ground.
Okay.
And he has a puzzle box in his hand, and he's undoing it. And just as Stefan and the crew. He's not the leader of the crew. He's just some guy.
Okay.
As they bust him, that's when this naked dude solves the lament configuration and opens this doorway to another dimension. And, chains start flying out. They rip guys' faces off. They start, killing people and, kidnapping those and stuff like that. And this is not only the cultists who have opened the box, but it's also, Stefan and his crew are getting ripped to shreds and, taken away and, monologued at by the Cenobites. And Pinhead, who is kind of the main antagonist of the Hellraiser movies, is not here. He is not. There is notable absence of Pinhead. There are other Cenobites, some of which we've seen before in the movies, some of which we haven't. They're fun. We can have a guy whose eyelids go all the way around his face or something.
Okay.
Because look up right now. Jake will put a flash of a picture of every Cenobite who's ever appeared in a Hellraiser piece of media.
It's a lot of work.
Right? It's not. It's so much. It's 30. Don't do that. Don't.
I won't do it.
Yeah, just Google it. You have fucking Google.
Yeah.
Google Cenobites, and you'll see that they're all these weird, pale-faced, creepy dudes and ladies who have body horror. So we have all these body horror monsters, and everyone's killed. They get their faces ripped off. They're all caught up in chains, screaming in agony, and all this stuff. And the only person who's still alive is Stefan, and he gets his hands on the box. And just as he's trying to figure out how to close it, because he knows these guys came from the box, I'm gonna close the box, and then we'll see if that works. The Cenobites, they get to him. They're we have such sights to show. That's their thing. That's what they say. Do not cry. It's such a waste of good suffering. That's what they're like. That's what they're about. Right? And he's wait. I'm like, what? He's like, you like suffering? I can bring you more suffering. I can bring you people. And he sets up, like, he forfeits his soul to the cenobites in order for extended life, and they don't kill him right now. And his job, basically, is to bring the lament configuration across the world and to all these different places, and to give souls to the cenobites. Right?
Okay, yeah.
And that's like the first episode, 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes of the first episode, bam.
He makes a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
See.
But he's almost the devil, basically.
Well, I mean, it's the idea of making a deal with the devil.
And so he, then bam, cut to, he's wandering through the desert. Stefan. He's about to die. He's dehydrated. He's hungry, and he doesn't have anything with him. The only thing he has on his person, he's got like a pair of pants and a ratty t-shirt, and he's just gripping onto the lament configuration with all of his might, and he like passes out in the sand. Maybe the sun sets or something.
Okay.
He's found by a crew of, cattle herders or whatever. They pick him up, they throw him on the back of the horse, and they're like, they bring him to the town, to the nearest town. And he's, talking to the doctor after he wakes up, and it's like, yeah, we tried to pry that out of your hands, but you just wouldn't let go, even after you were seemingly comatose. You just wouldn't let go of the box. And he was like, huh, okay. Maybe he has a little bit of amnesia. He's not exactly sure, but he knows that the box is important, and he knows he shouldn't solve it. So he gets into town. He's like beaten, bloodied, battered, but he's still alive. And he, last thing he remembered was like going into that room in the train, and then it just cuts to black, and he hears like screaming or whatever whenever he like tries to think about it. And he, tries to piece the mystery together of what's going on through like flashbacks. Maybe he gets like the town historian or, somebody who's intelligent, got a little bit of book smarts to look at this box, right?
Yeah.
He leaves it with them overnight, and he goes and does something. Maybe goes to help the cattle herders, or there's some rustlers about that he's going to take care of. And he, goes out, and while he's out doing that, whatever, the professor, he solves the puzzle box. It takes him a while, but he solves it, and just as Stefan, and then cut to morning, Stefan is getting back into the office of the professor. He knocks, the door's slightly ajar. He walks in. Hey, Dr. Avery, what's the what? And he sees like the entire room is covered in viscera and blood and gore, like as if Dr. Avery has been completely ripped apart, and they're standing there, nonchalantly just standing among the goo and the gore is the main Cenobite, I guess, of this series. And then hand on the throat, moving like, not a human being would. I'm assuming, it'd be cool if there's like, the Cenobite has a big, cloak or dress or whatever, and moves across the floor without, like, you don't see their feet moving.
You don't see, it's like just floating.
Yeah, but they're not they're still on the floor.
It's like dragging the dress. It's like they're rolling.
Yeah.
Like they have little wheels. Exactly.
That'd be pretty good. And, hand on the throat is like, you made a deal, Mather, or whatever. Come up with a better name for him. And they're like,
when I said they have little wheels, I didn't mean they literally have little wheels. I mean,
they should have little wheels.
It's like they have wheels.
No, they have little wheels. That's part of the Cenobite thing. So, we had a deal. He remembers what he has to do, and he's like horribly conflicted because he doesn't want to, send people to this weird, gross hell dimension where they're, having sex with monsters all the time. But at the same time, he doesn't want to go to this weird, gross hell dimension. And, he's promised his soul, and in exchange, he's been given extended life. So he's like, okay, this character should have some morals. They're not all over the place, but like in the books and in the movies, the box will take anyone. Like if a little kid solves the lament configuration, they also get, taken to the gross sex dimension and turned into monsters. So he's like, I'm not gonna do it to kids or the mentally feeble or something like that. Because that also happens a lot in the books, or in the movies, where somebody who's got a mental disorder solves the box and then they get, ripped apart by chains or whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna only do it to people who are fully capable of understanding what they're doing, solving a puzzle box. He's not gonna tell them what happens. So I think maybe this is the most conflict, and we could probably split this opener into 2 episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
He eventually gives the box to the congregation, to the preacher of the town during a sermon that's late at night. So there's all the kids are put to bed, and there's a few people watching, but there's a large congregation of people, and Stefan is like, well, if I don't get whatever, let's name the Cenobite right now, Rakeface. If I don't get Rakeface a lot of souls real soon, he's gonna take mine. And maybe he's promised.
Rake fur face.
Who knows? There's a lot of weird Cenobites. There's just to give you some Cenobite knowledge from the background. There's 2 that have they don't have any legs, they're just arms. It's like having arms and like a torso, and that's it. But they don't have faces. It's pretty cool. It's pretty rad. Yeah, and there's other sex swamps who have all their eyes and mouths sewn shut, but they can stick their hands underneath your skin. It's weird. It's a weird movie series, but I like it. So he's like, all right, I gotta do what I gotta do. And maybe he changes his mind just at the last minute, and he's going in to retrieve the box before they are able to open it, but somebody opens it, and the entire congregation, 30 people, seemingly innocent people, are completely torn to shreds by the Cenobites, the Hellraisers, Rakeface. They come, they take them, they rip their souls out, and they're like, you have started well, Stephen Mather, Stefan. We have started well, I think that this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Or something like that. Something nicer than that. Better sounding than that. He's like, you're going to be doing this forever. You are now a slave of hell.
He's the Hellraiser. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah. And so he's like, oh shit. And maybe a baby survives. Because I think it would be a good scene. It could be a good, little bit of moral fortitude for him if everyone in the place is ripped to shreds by all these monsters and there's gore everywhere. But the baby, there was one woman had a baby, and the baby's just sitting in this pile of bloody viscera, and it's got a little bit of, maybe it's got blood, and they put the sign of the cross on it because they're poetic like that. And he's he picks up the box, puts it away, carries the baby out to a doctor or somebody, gives it, and it's what the hell happened in there? He's oh. And he just wanders off into the sun, into the darkness of the night. Maybe he steals a horse, and he wanders off. Cut to black. Second episode or third episode, depending on how we're doing it. We're in the trenches of World War I. There's bombs going off all over the place. Shit's crazy. Yeah. There's all sorts of stuff going on. And we find Stefan, I keep calling him Steven, his name's Stefan. Stefan is, he's on the Allied side. Was it the Allies in World War I, or was it something in some ways?
The Triple Entente, I believe.
Okay. He's on the English
just call
side.
Allies.
Yeah. He's on the English side of World War I.
Which is the Triple Entente.
Yeah, he's on the Triple Entente side
he's in
of
the
World
Triple
War I.
Entente.
Oh my fucking god. Get it. He's in the trenches of Europe, getting shot at, shooting people, and he is a little bit more jaded, a little bit more cynical now, but he's still, still got a wee bit of morals. Maybe he saves a guy's life in the war, There's some sort of bomb that goes off or something.
Maybe he saves
this guy's life.
Isaac Illich's life.
Oh, maybe he saves Isaac. Well, I was thinking he also kills this guy by accident. Like, he saves somebody's life, but they lose a leg or something, and they're, like, recovering in the hospital, and, you know, they go through his stuff, or they're recovering in his room, and they, like, find the box, and they're just like, yeah, whatever, I'll solve it. And, you know, he comes back, and he realizes that this guy, the only friend he's ever actually made after he signed away his soul, has been, you know, eaten by the cenobites, like ripped apart, or turned into a cenobite, because that would be fun if he comes back as a cenobite, because that also happens.
Oh.
And then, you know, after that, he's completely distraught. He's heartbroken. He's super saddened, and he goes to Cairo. You know,
yeah.
He's transferred to Cairo as part of the First World War.
Gotcha.
And he gives away the box to somebody. You know, he's like trying to get rid of it now. He's like, I can't do this anymore. He gives away the box, and that is when Pinhead gets it, because in the lore, in Hellraiser lore, Pinhead was a World War I officer stationed in Egypt.
Oh, okay.
Who found the box and solved it, and then he was turned into Pinhead.
Gotcha.
But, you know, after that, he's trying to get away. And there are all these other sort of, like, gremlins and goblins that live in the Hellraiser universe. Like a big skeleton winged monster man. And he, you know, maybe he meets that guy, and he's like, you know, what the hell? I'm just a normal dude. And it's like, no, you've been marked by hell. Your soul is forever damned. You walk this earth as the carrier of the box. You know? And he goes to the underground bunker where Pinhead solved the box. He, you know, finds all this gore and stuff, because there's always gore left behind by the box. And he, you know, picks it up, puts it away, and slowly, you know, walks out into the city, hoping to one day be rid of his, you know, horrible curse. And in episode 3 or 2, those are the only 2 settings I have so far.
Yeah.
But I think it would be cool if throughout the series, we got further into the future.
Yeah, you just keep going through time. Yeah.
Yeah, World War I, and then we go to the 20s, and then we go to World War II, and then we go to, or the 20s / the Depression era, World War II. Then we go to like the 60s, 80s, 2000s, and then we do a big, maybe that's the end of the first season. Like, he's like, it's 2000. And at the start of the second season, we do a big jump. It's like the year 2050, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Because there's I think a little bit of sci-fi. Always fun, you know? Maybe it's like a sort of cyberpunk dystopian universe, and he's still traveling with the box, carrying it all across, you know, the world, giving it away.
There's only one box, right? Or is there more than one?
Well, I mean, there's one box that summons the Hellraisers, the Pinhead, the Cenobites, but there's a bunch of boxes that travel to different dimensions. Okay. So maybe throughout the series you can encounter other people who have been cursed to carry the boxes that send people to different... Yeah, they could have a club. Maybe he's in Tibet, and he's like, you know, he goes and finds, what's that hidden city in the mountains, in the Tibetan mountains?
Shangri-La.
Yeah, she finds Shangri-La, and he finds out that, like, it's not actually a city, it's just like a guy in a cave who has the lament configuration, but it's like the exact opposite of the one he has. And it sends
so it's like a lovely, nice world.
It sends you to like a perfect dimension, right?
And that's Shangri-La.
Yeah.
That perfect dimension. That's like the idea of what it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I think season 1 should be more personal, like Hellraiser, horror stories about monsters and stuff. I think season 2 we can get a little bit more into the like existential dread, huge monster, like, gods that are also part of the Hellraiser universe, because the Cenobites all take their orders from this guy. His name is Leviathan, and he's a giant trapezoid. who
Okay.
lives in the middle of a giant maze, and he tells them what to do. And he is basically the god of pleasure and pain and sensation, right? And so maybe he's, there's some sort of meeting of the minds of whoever is in charge of Shangri-La and, Leviathan, or some sort of shit like that. It also would be cool if we had some people tracking him down, right? Because he is the, carrier of the box. And there are some people...
Yeah, he's kind of a bad guy. Yeah, you want to take out that character.
Yeah, but there's like a group of people maybe started by the U.S. government, like spies or whatever, that are hunting him down. And then there's also a group of people who are like, I want to explore the, deepest realms of hedonistic pleasure. And,
they want to go there?
They want to go because it's, it's awesome. Explore, the cenobites describe themselves as explorers of the, of sensation, right? And so they're like, I want to explore some sensation. I want to be a crazy monster who lives forever. Let's do it. Yeah. So that's my idea for a TV show. I don't really have an ending point figured out, but...
Oh, you don't? Oh, come on. I was thinking, like, where's this journey going? Like, is he going to eventually... Like, it's got to end with him no longer being the carrier. Right?
Mm-hmm. I fully agree. I agree with that. I think maybe he gives gives the box because there always has to be a carrier. No, that's stupid. Because a carrier's never been mentioned in the 9 Hellraiser films.
Well, so he's like cursed to have the box, so he's got to have to. I mean, if we're going that far into the future, maybe he eventually destroys the box. He figures out a way to destroy a box.
Yeah. Or, you remember the baby from the first episode?
Yeah.
Maybe that baby grows up, and he is leading the anti-carrier, like, U.S. government-run thing. And he, like, Secret Service thing. And he also has extended life. Because that's what happened in the church when he was, a babe. The cross that's blood was actually also a curse. That he was like, you know what? We're just gonna, this is a little bit of fun. We're having a little bit of fun here, fucking this guy's life up. And so... Oh yeah,
it's like some byproduct from what happened, yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe the carrier always needs to have somebody chasing it.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, it just could be some fucked up thing that Cenobites wanted to do.
Yeah, part of the curse. Something like that, yeah.
So what, it would end with, I don't know, the baby killing him?
Or maybe...
And then locking away the box, so that you got chances for sequels, but, this story's over, because the carrier is gone. You've like some sad moment where he's like, I didn't want to do what I had to do, I just didn't want to die, or something like that.
Yeah.
But now I realize that, like, death isn't so bad.
And maybe he is, like, the guy is the baby man. The man who once was a baby, but now is a man.
That's how everyone is.
Yeah. He solves the box, or is trying to solve the box, and, Stefan has, like, a change of heart, and he's like, no, we can't, I will not allow this, horror show to continue. And he, like, tackles him, and they both fall into a dimension, into a rip in the dimensional, like, fabric. And they, tumble off somewhere else. In the box, the final shot of the series, we're in a spaceship or on a planet or something. And the box, like, falls to the ground and solves itself back into, like, the original position, right?
Yeah.
And then, just a couple of beats. Somebody walks over, picks the box up. We don't see their face, puts it in their coat, and just walks away. And then a cool song plays.
I knew you were going to say that.
What song do you want to play? Do you want to play Hellraiser
what would
by
the song be?
Ace of Spades? Or no, Hellraiser by Motorhead?
I mean, that would fit the theme, I guess.
Yeah. Or should it be like a more somber song? It's the end of the world as we know it.
It's not super sad.
No, it's not. It's not somber at all.
I don't know. Whatever. That maybe we don't want it to be sad because it's kind of because the characters weren't good. Like, you know, the main character Stefan, he's not really a good person.
No.
So we shouldn't be sad that he's dead. And then maybe we should be sad that the other person's dead, or
well, I also
baby
think
man.
the baby man is also a bad guy because he's a part of the U.S. government.
Yeah,
he's
but
like a secret service.
How does it make him bad in this case? He hasn't done anything bad. He's a guy working for the U.S. government trying to track down a dude that forces people to solve a box that brings hell demons in and kills them. Does he sound like a bad guy, Charlie, to you?
Well, maybe we make
just
him
because he
into
works for the government doesn't mean his job makes him bad.
Well,
his
the
job makes him a
government
good guy, in fact, because he's doing a good thing. He's trying to stop this devil person.
Well, the government would want to take the box. And I think it would also be cool if we had some, like, he has some secret motivation that he wants to solve the box and, like, join the Cenobites because, like, you know, of all the trauma he experienced as a baby, and he, like, remembers that night so vividly. Every time he goes to sleep, he dreams of the night that the Cenobites killed his entire family in town.
Okay, I got it. You could make it so that the baby was like marked by the Cenobites to be like a contingency plan in case Stefan decides to, you know, give up on his duties. And so when Stefan decides that he wants to, you know, destroy the box or something, right?
Yeah.
You got the baby who like activates and, you know, is now like a sleeper agent trying to take down him and be the new carrier, essentially. And the show ends with them, you know, dying together, and then we have the person taking the box.
I think that works very well. And then, you know, sequel bait, obviously, because they're trapped into another dimension, not dead.
Yeah.
And also, he walks away with the box somewhere. Like a homeless guy. Let's say it's a homeless guy. It's a homeless guy that is played, or a homeless person played by the main Cenobite. The main bad guy Cenobite.
Oh, but like we don't, I can see, yeah.
Yeah, like
that'd be cool. A little Easter egg.
Maybe at the end of season 1, the main bad guy Cenobite from season 1 is turned into a human.
Oh.
Like turned back into a human.
Interesting.
And so he's...
Rig faces now. Ryan Phelps. Well, it was a pleasure, but maybe you found it funny. Maybe not. It wasn't funny, so I don't know why you would.
Some of it was. Some of it was funny, wasn't it?
Hopefully. I don't know. The story was good. That's what matters. That's all. That's all.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles. Along with me, as always, has been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jake DeBaby Gloth.
No.
Yes. How about Jake the Baby Man Gloth?
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Bye. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, subscribe, follow, tell all your friends, tell your enemies, tell your mom. Bye. I love you.
I already said bye. I'm not saying it again. So.